Hey guys, thanks for joining me here on the Silver Report. Today is Tuesday, February 7th, 2017. We have gold currently trading at $1,232. We have silver at $17.75. And let's get into some of the economic factors that are going to be playing in. We have Steve Bannon's prediction of war with China. But they're dismissing it. China's foreign minister has taken a swipe at Steve Bannon, the chief advisor that is within the Trump administration, the key to his political savvy, the man with the finger on the pulse, and also former managing partner of Goldman and Sachs. Donald Trump's chief strategist, he's predicting China and the U.S. will eventually go to war. He said any sober-minded politician would understand that both sides would lose from such a conflict. And while Donald Trump is correct in most of his statements about the trade deficit that is in China, is that we've grown into some sort of symbiotic relationship. This has been taking place a long time. And for example, you can build a nice, strong, beautiful building and it's nice, everybody likes it at first, but then after it's there for a long time, it begins to have vining plants climb on the side of it. It begins to absorb into its nature and to uproot the current trade system that is there. Is going to cause dramatic repercussions and pains in the markets. And what also we're seeing, it will also drive on a currency war in which the dollar will be continuously devalued against Chinese currency in order to try to compete in this trade war. Now, what we're seeing worse in the South China Sea, China has created islands that were not there before. So they are China's fabricated islands. They went out into the South China Sea, which is a major trade route for all Asia through that sea. It's like 80% of Chinese goods, Asian goods. We have South Korea, the Philippines, Japan uses those waters. And we have this strait. China is making a big power play here. And this is why there's so much talk about this. This is why there's so much uprise about this, because they're making a massive power play. Because not only have they developed and created islands in the South China Seas, and it's interesting they call it the South China Seas when it's actually international waters, but they've created these islands there. And what they've done is they've gone in and they militarized the islands. They've put anti-aircraft missiles there, anti-air defense. They have anti-missile machinery there that is able to shoot down incoming missiles. They're setting up a defensive barrier. And they also have stationed their airports. They have defense planes. They created the islands, but they have created them in international waters. And so what we have seen is Donald Trump, in his Twitter happy fashion, come out and discuss that he's not going to allow China to operate there. He's not going to allow China to control the South China Sea because it is a very powerful shipping route, shipping lane. China's foreign minister Wang Zi met with the Australian foreign minister Julie Bishop in Canberra on Tuesday to discuss trade and security arrangements. In a press conference afterward, he asked if he was concerned about a possible war between China and the U.S., given the Trump administration has signaled it wants to take a stronger and more aggressive stance towards Beijing. Bannon last year predicted the two nations would go to war over the South China Sea. It emerged last week that Bannon, during a radio show hosted on the far-right website Breitbart, of March 2016, predicted the U.S. would go to war in the South China Sea in 5 to 10 years. And there's no doubt about that, he said. They're taking their sandbars and making basically stationary aircraft carriers and putting missiles on them. They come here to the United States in front of our face, and you understand how important face is, and say it's ancient territorial sea. But controlling this gives them control over all trade throughout Asia, through the Asian continent, which is one of the largest manufacturers of goods throughout the world. Controlling this they can limit their shipping costs. And they can also tax other countries that are shipping there. And what we've seen is China has now developed into the second most powerful economy in the world. While its military spending is not quite on par with the United States, it is still a massive economic player on the world stage, and it has powerful friends. You see, there was a reason that Russia needed to secure Crimea, because the United States wanted it bad. They wanted it bad, and they wanted to make it a part of NATO bad, because when one is attacked, all attack. And they wanted it bad because it controlled Russia's shipping port in the Black Sea. It was the home of major Russian shipping ports, and cutting off their access to be able to trade or to control the trade coming out of Russia would very advertently hinder their ability as an economic power. Same thing as China. There's a reason, because they're afraid that China will gain more advantage, as if they don't already have the trade advantage. Their advantage is that they have slaves in sweatshops creating our goods for pennies on the dollar. But China's foreign minister is saying any sober-minded politician that clearly recognizes that there cannot be conflict between China and the United States, because both will lose. Both sides can't afford that. And we see that America's teeter its economic position already. It cannot endure a major world war. And besides that, we've been poking the Russian bear for years. Through the Obama administration, he had some sort of thing against Russia, some sort of thing against economic powers in the world. And we already see that China is not pleased with the United States. They're not trading oil in dollars. They're willing to step out of the old economic order. They're taking statements, making statements at the United Nations that they are ready to step in to the leading role of the United Nations if America no longer wants to play a part. They're talking about at the World Economic Summit how they're ready to take over economically if the United States no longer wants to play a part. So they are no longer just some country. They're not Iraq, where we can just have a shock and awe move and roll through the entire country on tanks unhindered until we go and capture the leader. They're a lot more technologically advanced. Their army contains more individual soldiers, manpower, than the United States, though they have lower military spending. But they have had dramatic advances in years, because when it comes to economies doing successfully, you need successful research and development and creation of new goods. And a lot of the biggest technological advances have taken place in China over the past years. It's true, our military is unmatched. It's true that within the United States, the amount of money that is spent on the military and military research and development, I swear these technical trade shows are specifically for the military. Rex Tillerson, during his confirmation hearing in January to become the U.S. Secretary of State, he said China should be barred from artificial islands it has built in the South China Sea. So Trump's cabinet members are already bringing this up, that they should be stopped. They should be hindered. We're going to have to send China a clear signal that first, the island building stops, and second, your access to those islands also is not going to be allowed, he said. They are taking territory or control or declaring control of territories that are not rightfully China's. And so, essentially, it is as if they have showed up in the Pacific Ocean telling California that they can't protest an elected official conducting business, showing up in the Gulf of Mexico with their ships, telling us that we can't build oil rigs. And so, would we respond? America responds when nobody's pushed them. America is a country of war. And so, the only thing that has hindered other countries from behaving the way we do, and the reason we don't have wars on American soil, is because we are extremely well funded and because all the other countries were underfunded. But what we see is a rise of an economic superpower in China, the rise of a manufacturing superpower. great technological advances that we're not always aware of. Oceans of people by population. They're not an easy pushover. And going into their land, and the issue that they say they're facing is they can't allow them to build these islands. They can't allow them to control the South China Sea. They can't allow them to gain total control over trade from the Asian continent. And it would be affected. Not all wars are as simple as shock and awe, and we roll right through. A lot of times, war hurts both sides. We see that our national debt is at historic highs. Normally, the victors of war come back and those debts are eliminated. Because war, in the end of the day, is not about freedom or right or wrong. It's about money. It's about money. It's about economic control. It's about policies of trade that have given the United States a disadvantage for years, and them trying to go and find some way to overcome some of those challenges that have been created because of this, which is a dominant China asserting authority in the region. It is by far the most powerful country in the region, and it's becoming a source of tension and will continue to be. And world tension is bad news for world economies, especially China. We saw that the Chinese stock market took a couple plunges last year, and the entire world, it affected the American market. We are so interconnected at this point that any major move, any major war or problem such as this will cause massive market turmoil around the world. Investments are so interconnected that we can't be untouched by these actions. So the time now is to prepare, because there will be steps taken. We've seen it voiced by our president, by his cabinet picks. We see an aggressive America stance, and we see a hatred in all reality toward China. Regardless of what your opinions or your beliefs are about China, it affects your economy. And so the time is now to prepare, guys. Take some steps to prepare for your family. A lot of people, they're bullish on the stock market. They're excited about the stock market. They're excited, got this enthusiasm. Yay, Trump's going to be great for the economy. But these kind of tragedies cannot be avoided when there are world wars. And so the main player within the war, it normally costs a lot of money to wage a war, especially overseas. So you need to be prepared now. When this money comes rushing out of the stock market, and this enthusiasm, it was a beautiful time, and some passion that erupted, some excitement about U.S. returning to manufacturing. But when that excitement is found to be short-lived, and that money comes rushing out of the stock market, if you're bullish in the stock market, you're going to lose a lot of money, because you can't press sell as fast as some of these big players, because they're not players, they're machines. And it's going to hurt. The average American is going to be hurt. The average person is going to be hurt. They don't do anything to benefit the average person. If you don't learn from the past, you're destined to repeat it. And so take steps now to prepare. Have some food set away, some fresh water, precious metals. Invest now, small denominations. And I thank you guys so much for joining me. If you like the videos, press like, leave a comment in the comment box what you think, any suggestions you guys might have. I thank you guys all so much for being a part of this channel, for stopping by all the time. This is one of the greatest audiences, and the best and most effective weapon we have is to awaken the masses, to share this message of liberty and freedom and real sound constitutional money with the masses, so that their eyes too can begin to be open, because then and only then will we have real change. And I thank you guys so much for joining me. Stay safe. Hey guys, thanks for joining me again. I told you we had something special coming up. So what we're gonna do, I just got a nice package in the mail. Got 2 brand new 2017 Canadian Maples. Man, I love these coins. What a beautiful coin that is. Oh, I guess you're wondering about the title of the video. That's right. This is Free Silver February, guys. And I figured since the channel's been doing so good and picking up so many subscribers, I thought it was time to give a little something back to my audience. So for every person who subscribed, all you have to do, guys, is comment on 3 different videos the message Free Silver February. And for everybody who types the message Free Silver February in 3 different videos, each 3 videos, you're entered in for a chance to win one of these brand new silver Canadian maples. Brand new, never touched by human hands. Well, at least since they've been in my possession. Brand new spotless coins. And they're yours, guys. I'll pay shipping. So if you want to partake in the contest, all you gotta do is be subscribed. Type in Free Silver February. I'll make it even sweeter. Every 3 videos you post that comment in, you're entered in. So there's no limit. The only limit is the amount of videos because it's gotta be on 3 separate videos. Alright, and I'll make it even sweeter since the channel's been doing so well, guys. And if you're new to this channel, we talk a little bit about politics, a little bit about the current economic crisis we're facing that they're trying to ignore. It's kind of one of those fake news sites they've been warning you about. So this is what I'm going to do, guys, since it's been doing so good. If we surpass 1,000 subscribers, which I'm assuming we will, at the current rate, we'll blow past that before the end date, February 27th, 2017, I'm going to double it. So you get 2 ounces of silver, and even more than that, I'll throw in 5 mercury dimes. Absolutely free. I'll pay shipping, and we're going to do the drawing live, guys. Good old-fashioned pull names out of a hat. You know what I mean. So here's your chance, guys, if you want to enter in. It's not that difficult for all my audience, all my faithful subscribers. Everyone who's subscribed, all you have to comment is Free Silver February, and you're in. Alright, but thank you guys for joining me. This message is effective January 27th, 2017. Let the games begin.